Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I didn't say hi, everybody. I said hi, everyone. I'm changing it up.
Okay, good for you.
Hi. So here we are.
Hoping we have better sound.
2 weeks later.
Yeah.
feeling well rested.
Yeah, much more refreshed.
Yes. And you may have noticed
There's been progress.
Yes, there's been progress.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks definitely makes a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. So I'm Kim.
And I'm Jennifer.
And we're the girls from Fleece and Harmony Woolen Mill in Belfast, Prince Edward Island. So if you haven't joined us before, welcome. And if you've been with us for all 50 previous episodes, because this is episode 51, welcome back.
Feels like a really long time since we did the last one now.
I know.
We're not used to it.
Yes.
Yeah. I hope I don't look like I'm naked. I do have shorts on.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
All right.
Yours are quite a bit longer.
Yes. Actually, it's funny you should say naked.
Oh.
Because I've got a funny story.
Oh, okay.
All right. So we're going to do, it's a beautiful day here. Really like stunning, kind of the nice little soft breeze, not too humid.
Yeah.
Our hair actually might be still in the same plane of existence by the time we finish.
I had mine done yesterday, and then I went and worked out and went swimming in the ocean. So.
All right. So we have a farm update.
Yeah.
Because we're feeling more like podiatrists today than or for the last week and a half, I guess, or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, than we are like farmers. So we've
lots of feet.
Yeah, lots of feet issues.
Animals. Veterinary podiatrists.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is different than just a farrier.
Yeah.
It's like
sometimes we feel like that too.
I know. I like the what is the expression that the army marches on their stomach?
Oh,
that you
I
need
think
to well-fed
no foot. I like no foot, no horse.
Yeah, that's right.
Then there's for the want of a nail.
Yeah, what is it?
The shoe that was missing the nail and it lost the whole army battle.
Oh, okay.
Because the shoe flew off. There's some poem, right?
Yeah, something
the
about how
nail.
important.
Okay.
So how important feet are.
Yeah.
So for animals, especially the four-legged kind, they're really important.
Yeah.
So this is how it started out. What was that, like 2 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Whenever we always do animal checks morning and night. And it's really important, even though if everybody looks fine, it's really important to get out there, walk among them, see how they're all moving and whatever, because you always find something.
Yeah.
It seems like you always find something. So Heather, our trusty helper.
Who we sacrifice for the most worthy causes on a regular basis.
Yeah. We were walking with her through the sheep, and there was a, and if they have like a little limp, if the sheep has a little limp, they can twist their feet in long grass. Like it's not really, we do, but if we see it 2 days in a row, then we definitely go into the field, catch the sheep, and check their feet really well, just to make sure that there's nothing going on. So we saw one of the ewes was limping a little bit, and then the next day it really wasn't better. It looked a little bit worse. So we made a effort to catch her, and we were going to trim her feet because her feet looked a little bit long. So they were longish, but not overly long. But when Jennifer was doing the trimming, she said, "Oh, look what I found." What was it?
A clothespin spring.
Yes. So
in her foot.
Weird. Like in between her toes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So totally weird. No wonder she was limping. Yeah. There was no damage done to it or anything, but a clothespin spring.
Not the whole
totally random.
Just the spring.
Yeah, and I think the only thing Heather could say was, "Wow, that's weird and random."
Yeah.
I don't know.
The funny thing is when you feed hay outside, like all kinds of stuff gets swept up in hay as you go through with the baler.
Yeah.
Right?
But there's no clotheslines usually in a hayfield either.
No, but like a clothespin, like stuff gets carted around.
More
like
than
there could be litter that goes in your hay bale.
Yeah.
It could have been in another hay bale, shot out by another sheep somewhere in the field.
A clothespin could have blown over there in Hurricane Dorian.
Yeah. And then what happened to the wood part? We don't know.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah.
Like you could
stuff.
have like often when you're mowing the pasture, you run a lot of across a lot of frogs. There could be like a frog leg. It's in your haylage. Like There's a lot of stuff in fields.
Yeah.
And you're talking about an area that might be like 26 acres big.
Right.
Imagine the amount of random stuff that can get swept up on the baler and then it goes in the sheep's food. And
yeah. It's
quite
so luckily
something.
they're pretty fussy about what they eat.
Yeah, well, they're not going to eat like a rotten frog leg, but
No.
but it's never like the things you find.
Yeah. So anyway, the poor little girl, 2 days in a row, she was walking around with that in between her toes.
Yeah.
So we fished that out of there, and like I said, there was no damage to her feet or anything. It was just probably uncomfortable, you can imagine, and trimmed her all up, and she was fine. But it was really like kind of like you have a guest at the farm, and you're kind of like, okay,
yeah.
So then,
how are your sheep regularly walk around with clothespins?
Yeah.
No.
And then we the next time she was here, we were going through it's all about part of her training. The stuff all happens.
Right.
Anyway, she there was one of the wethers, so a castrated ram is called a wether. So what did he have going on? Something, I don't know. I think they were all getting rambunctious out in the field. He twisted his ankle.
Limping.
Nothing wrong with his feet either,
No.
but just random limps. He's better now.
They do sprain their ankles frequently.
Yeah, or jam their knees or something. But anyway, he's fine now. Then the horse.
The
Taylor.
horse had a bruise on her sole.
Yeah.
Which we've got sorted out now.
Yes.
But that's scary when a horse is limping.
Yes.
And she was a bit swollen from maybe
Favoring
it or, and you're like, oh, because for sure, leg problems.
Yeah.
Not what you want in a horse.
No.
So we're not having ACL repairs done or anything like that.
Yeah.
You can imagine. So she's all sorted out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about the feet.
And luckily, like, I know a little bit about the hoofs trimming and stuff, so I think we got that fixed up pretty well. And we did have the vet's help too to try to figure out what was going on with her, because we thought it was in the leg, but it was actually a foot thing. And then once we looked at the hoof, we were like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so then that's a lot less scary.
Yes,
because hoofs grow back, leg tendons do not.
No, that's right. Can be be dangerous.
Could be very bad.
Yeah.
So she's fine. Mm-hmm. And then, but we did have one little veterinary thing that happened that was not good, which is I had to finally put down my little dog, Charlie.
Yeah.
So she made it from before Christmas until now.
But she wasn't supposed to, they said that she wasn't going to make it till Christmas.
No, and so we hoped it had been the onion and that she didn't have blood loss going on internally from this tumor that she had, but she clearly did. Mm-hmm. And I took her back in, and her hemoglobin was at the level which would require another transfusion. Mm-hmm. By the way, the transfusion cost $3,000. Mm-hmm. So it's not a long-term solution, and we just had to say goodbye. So that was fairly terrible. Yeah. It's been a week now.
Yeah.
You know, she was 90 in dog years, so I'm kind of a little bit better with it than some others that I've lost for other reasons. But
then you had kind of prepared yourself.
I had a long time to prepare.
Yeah.
And so did you all.
Yeah.
But obviously I'm not happy about it.
No. Well, it's never...
Did I tell you I was so distraught I accidentally left her collar there?
No.
And then they called me yesterday to ask if I wanted it back, and I was like, oh, God.
So
why are we talking about this? No, because it was actually Baxter's collar.
Oh.
I had just thrown it on her to take her, and I just was like, you know what? I can't come pick that back up. Like, just throw it out. It's fine.
You're gonna still get the card, probably.
Yeah, they send you the card. I think they think that's a good thing, but...
Yeah, well, it is, sort of, but...
Then when you get the card,
puts the lump in your throat.
Yeah. And then they ask you, do you want any paw prints? Oh, no.
Yeah, I didn't know about the paw prints.
Okay.
When I put, like, a previous dog, back when we were still living in Montreal, she was old.
Oh, and they just put the paw print on your card.
We got the... Little Scene was her name. She was Lhasa Apso. And the card just came a week later with the paw print. I had no idea that that's what they did. I mean, it was
I can see why they ask, because I could really set you off.
Yeah. It's it's never easy anyway. But then you're just starting to feel like, okay, you can think about something else, and then the card comes with the paw print.
Some people would probably like it as a keepsake, but we're just not those kind of people. Yeah,
I was digging through something like not that long ago, like a few months ago, and I found the card with the paw print, and then it was nostalgic. There's enough distance. That was like 15 years ago.
Right. Takes a long time.
Takes a long time, so it was nostalgic, and I was glad that I had it, but I don't want one showing up a week after. Yeah.
Okay, let's change the subject.
All right, so that's enough of that talk.
Yeah.
So...
Very sad.
Yes. All right, so now we have lots of whips.
I don't know about lots, but...
Well, we have a finished object. We want to do the whips first.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to... I randomly have a pair of yoga pants on top of my Paisley jacket. So I'm just going to dig around in here for a second.
It's weird.
Yes. Okay. So here it is. And the last time I said I wasn't going to show it, I said that the decreases were already done. But in fact, I had one more repeat. This is why it's always good to have notes on your pattern. And now, for sure, the decreases are all done. And I'm have to knit another 4 centimeters just in straight. And then I start the increases again so that I'm past the waist. So I'm just going to show... So this is my I know this is an ask us anything question, but we'll just handle it because it makes sense to handle it now. So there's my steek, and the person, I don't know who asked that, but they must have the pattern in the kit because they knew there was 5.
Thought, yeah, maybe, or typically patterns do say 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they asked that didn't look like 5 steek stitches, and you're absolutely right. It's not. It's 10. And
they asked if you were just nervous, and I think that's the right answer.
Yes. I've done a steek before on a band, but I have never cut the whole length of the sweater. So yes, I was nervous and I overcompensated, and I don't know what I'll do. I'll probably end up trimming it because I'm really confident that this yarn is the proper yarn for steeking.
And
so,
you'll end up with way too bulky of a thing to turn under.
But you know what I would like is to finish the steek on the inside with some beautiful ribbon, like gross grain ribbon, but I can't really find any to buy, and I would buy it for the shop, but I've looked and looked and looked. So if anybody knows
you can't buy gross grain ribbon
I can
anymore?
find plain gross grain ribbon, but I've seen lots of beautiful ones that have like patterns on them and stuff, and all the ones that I found they don't look like really high quality, and the patterns are all like kitschy. There's not really like anything classic. So I don't know. I may continue my search, but anyway. So
I think it's sad. Like I think a lot of things like that were probably important to finishing, or the market demands or the expectation is that those things should be so cheap nowadays that you can't even find quality because we're all so just it's not a priority. Yeah, like it's
but I would like to have like something beautiful to put in on the inside.
I'm not surprised it's hard to find because
but not even to buy.
Cheaper is not always better. That's something we need to learn as a society again.
So I'll just give, because I think you can see a little bit more now. So this is the first panel, which is the big Paisleys. And then you have the more, the smaller ones that are the next panel. And then this is the back. So you have this kind of waffly look, which is really fun to knit actually, because you get into quite a rhythm. And then it's just a repeat on the other side, obviously. So now that the Cornwallis is done, then I'll be able to concentrate a bit on that. But I am going to start the Sunday cardigan.
Yeah,
too.
That's fun.
Yeah. So that's that. So that's the update on that.
And we're actually going to show the colors you're using for your Sunday cardigan in a minute.
Yeah.
Later on. Okay, so that's exciting then.
Yes.
Okay, so am I on?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've still been working on this Pabaigh. It's supposed to be soft, like give it up on the Gaelic, right? I have no idea.
It's supposed to be soft.
The B is supposed to be softer. Jennifer Beal is watching this. She's laughing hysterically because that was the feedback she sent me. And I'm just like, to me, I would almost be like a B. Pabaigh. We don't know how to make it softer.
we're not soft talkers,
especially
anyway.
From written instructions. Like, oh God, love her. Okay.
Oh, she sent me a sound file the last time she was.
Well, Jennifer, where's my sound file? For heaven's sake, I'm going to be done the sweater before I learn how to pronounce it correctly.
3 different emphases on things. So that's what you need, Jennifer. What's going on?
I mean, who doesn't need a friend who speaks Gaelic?
Yes, and
that's something everybody needs. Okay, so anyway, 10 inches of stockinette on a 2-point whatever is actually apparently a lot of knitting because I'm still, obviously it's much larger than it looked last time.
Yes.
I hope. But I have another 3 inches to go.
Yeah.
And I've really been concentrating on this because stockinette and the round is pretty much my speed rate at the moment.
Right.
And so that's bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, I'm really hoping to finish it sometime this summer. I think it'll go much faster once I get past this point because short sleeves and whatnot. Obviously, this is the bigger part. And then
you have knit quite a lot.
Well,
is
I
this
feel
still
like
the
I
first
have.
ball?
No. I'm about to start the third.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
then you knit through a whole ball since we last were here.
Yeah.
Because you already had a little bit left of the first ball.
Probably.
So now you've gone.
My goal was to do a ball in this 2-week period.
Yeah, perfect.
I came somewhat short of that, but
check
there's been a
that
lot
box.
going on.
Yeah.
All right. Now on my darkness, I measured the swatch and everything. And last time I had said, I'm going to try to knit this fabric and go down a size. But the schematic that was provided in the pattern didn't really lend itself to easily figuring out what circumference I needed because it's in pieces. So I have the inches I need for the back and the inches and then the cast on is not at the widest part.
Okay.
So the number of cast on stitches didn't really help me, and it just ended up like this is going to be a major calculus project to figure out whether I can do this with the larger needle or not. So scrap that. I'm going down to a 5.5 millimeter needle.
Okay.
The pattern calls for a 6. My swatch was done in a 6. I got 13 stitches instead of the 14 I needed, so I'm going down a 0.5 millimeter. So the math on that should pretty well work because every stitch will lose a 0.5 millimeter in circumference.
Right.
That'll be more than enough to
Right.
move it down to 14.
Yeah.
Might actually be then a little bit smaller. But it's not worth trying to convert it. Like in 3 separate pieces that you're trying to measure, and then it's not a bust measurement. The measurement that's provided is around the bottom
Oh, okay.
of the sweater.
Oh,
like
okay.
how much the cape
Anyway,
is
it's
going to
not
kind of...
supposed to be like a fitted looking thing anyway.
No, but a lot of people did say theirs was quite large, but
Yeah.
I wasn't able to get gauge. So, I mean, if yours was large, it could be your gauge
Yes.
was like mine, and a 6 millimeter was just too big of a needle. I mean, I think whoever knit that sample obviously was very uptight.
Just my speed.
You might be perfect, but I'm a loose knitter, so it's not a surprise that I have to go down 0.5 millimeter. So I'm going to cast it on.
And you've had good success with that
Going down.
strategy before.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's fine. I still, in the back of my mind, I still lament the Sunday cardigan
Yeah.
incident.
Even though I saw you had it on the other day.
Still
It looked
stings.
lovely.
Still stings.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's it for whips then. Not a lot of whips.
No, but
A couple.
quite, yeah.
Okay.
Lots.
But I mean, my darkness, I'm definitely starting it really soon. I had to mentally do that exercise. Like what I did this week was go back to the pattern, figure out what I was going to do. That's all I got done on it. Now I'm ready to cast it on.
Right.
Because I was still feverishly working on that, hoping to God that I would actually get the 10 inches done, but I haven't. And the pattern is only 9, I think, but I'm making it longer, I don't want it to be quite as cropped.
Yeah.
So that's my plan for those two.
Okay.
So FO.
FOs.
Yeah.
Cornwallis.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Right. You're
So
wearing it. It looks wonderful.
It looks like it's finished, but it's really
Okay.
not.
Right.
Okay, so I still have rolled hems, and I left the part that rolls open, and I've got the ends of my
That was smart.
thread to cut or like to finish it off, to weave in the ends. They're all tucked up inside here. So if you see a loose thread, don't be alarmed. It's just because I haven't actually finished it. And if you want to use the expression hot off the needles, I literally was sewing the last stitch of an hour ago. I took a long time to piece it. There's a couple things that we want to say about it, and I'm going to give you all the inside tips if you haven't finished knitting it, if you're knitting it, or if you want to knit it, about the finishing of this. First of all, didn't even have time to press it. So there is a few, I don't know if you'll even be able to see it, but there's a few stitches that are a bit wonky, like where decreases happen, which will press out perfectly. So
You're pressing this, not blocking it.
I'm pressing it, not blocking it, because I did that for the sleeves. We're going to show pictures of the sleeves after I finish knitting them, and it works really, really well with cotton. So just to remind people, this is the first cotton sweater that I've knit in 20 years. The first one didn't turn out so well. This one I'm super happy with, so I learned a lot knitting this sweater actually. All right, so the first thing that I think is worth mentioning is when I finish the sleeves. So this is a set-in raglan sleeve. So I wouldn't recommend knitting this in the round. It's a pieced sweater, and I would keep it that way, and I'm going to tell you why. Because of the structure that the seams give. It's really worth doing the seams, I think. And I learned a lot about seaming cotton too during this, so I'm going to give the hints. So it's a set-in raglan sleeve, and when you finish knitting, there's a schematic, thank goodness. When you finish knitting the sleeves and you bind off, you cast off, and you've got your two sleeves, they look like they would fit perfectly. But I started to panic. My heart was pounding because when I put it next to the way you sew it up is that you do the two front raglan sleeves, you sew those two front seams, and you do the right back seam. So you're still knitting it flat when you go to do the neckband. So you're not even doing the neckband in the round. When I put my sleeves up against the raglan edges, it didn't fit. One was short and the other one, they were both the same size, and the front is shorter than the back. So I was like, oh God, okay. And I couldn't figure out how you were going to fit that together without seeing puckers in cotton, because sometimes you can play with that with wool, but I couldn't see it happening in cotton. So I go back to the pattern to see if there was any instructions about how, and they just said press the pieces before sewing up, and that was it. So luckily I looked at the schematic and I said, well, okay, my sleeve doesn't look like the schematic. So I got out the ironing board, I got out the iron, and I started pressing it, and I pulled the part where you bind off in little steps. It's not really very obvious once you press it. And I realized that you actually do need to press, because you get kind of
it looked like angle. This, and when you press it, it looked like this.
We have the picture, so you can see. So first crisis averted. I was like, okay, that's good, but it's worth talking about because I don't want you to have to panic if you're going to do that.
Prevent panicking at all costs.
Prevent panicking.
Yes. That's our motto.
So in fact, what you have is your raglan at the top obviously doesn't come to a point. It actually comes to like a little sawed off point,
thingamabob,
and you've got like 8 or 9 stitches across the top to make the top of the shoulder. So that's why that was so crisis averted. Then it recommends that you sew up either with back stitch or mattress stitch, and I chose to do mattress stitch, and I'll tell you, I think they're both equally valid, but I'll tell you why I chose to do mattress stitch. Mattress stitch, you do, or I do it anyway, with the pieces on the right, like the right side facing, and you go between the two pieces so you can see exactly what you're doing. Back stitch, you do the pieces right sides together, and you do the seam, like a seam, like when you're sewing. So I didn't want to do that. It's probably
you wanted to keep your eye on it.
I wanted to keep my eye on it because when you're doing sewing up on pieces that are knit with wool or other fabric that has like a lot of stretch and give, there's a lot of forgiveness. You can not, I'm always careful stitching up because I know that that's the finishing kind of, that puts the polish on the thing, but you can get away with a lot and you can make a lot of adjustments, and you can, and this, it could easily get away from you, and it's going to be obvious because it's all striped. So if your stripes don't match perfectly, it's going to be really obvious. So that's why I chose to do mattress.
Yeah, and they match perfectly where you had extended your arm a little bit. Remember we talked about lining these up?
Yes. Yeah. I actually shortened the arm.
Oh, okay, shortened, sorry. Yes. Yeah, but you did it, as we said, you have to do the 2 at a time to make sure that they line up across.
That's right. So my sleeves are right at the wrist. So they, in fact, they're not, they would have been a little bit longer, but I almost think that it might have been okay longer.
Except you're going to fix this and that'll come down, and you're probably going to add something. And so they will actually be longer than they are now.
Yes, that's right. So I'm glad I didn't stop earlier.
Right.
But it worked. Yeah. So I actually, it's about 2.5 centimeters shorter than what was recommended in the pattern. So that would have been like, quite long. And that all worked perfectly. And I did my sleeves 2 at a time, so they're all even and everything. But when I was sewing up, I'm glad I was watching it, because I think my tension was a little bit different on my front than it was on the back. So my stripes are slightly smaller on the front of the back, but it's not a lot.
Right.
But I was really careful when I was sewing up, so that on the side,
so
you can just kind of...
Oh, I see.
So
this is... So you have to really take your time with the sewing up of this.
Yeah.
Like matching up stripes and stuff is the real deal. That's like...
It helps you, actually.
Well, that's true. It would help you keep it even.
Yeah. So the other thing is there's a really good video on Blueprint from, I think it's Ann Budd, that talks about the knitter's tricks, like kind of what you have into. And she says like, if you're not happy with the way it looks like when you're stitching, then back it out and redo it. So I that's what I did. Like I took my time. I'd get ahead like let's say the length of 3 navy things, so I'd get that much. If the navy stripes weren't matching up as well as they were on the first ones, I backed it out and I redid it, because you're off a half a stitch. The other thing that you need to be careful of is we did a little tutorial on Mattress Stitch, but I did it on the just on a straight side seam. But where you have a lot of decreasing and increasing, your Mattress Stitch, you kind of pick a channel of where you're going to catch your fabric, and you follow that channel along, and you've got a seam that's perfectly even on both sides. You can't do that when you're on a piece of fabric that you're increasing and decreasing, because your channel that you're working either moves in or disappears, depending on if you're increasing or decreasing. So you have to be prepared to switch channels. Move to the other lane.
Hilarious.
Move to another lane. And it's just easier to do that when you're looking at it rather than trying to figure that out when you're back stitching, I think.
Right.
Yeah, it was really...
I'm
this
not
was
a
very
pieced sweater person.
I know, but it was very satisfying for me.
Okay.
The neck also is supposed to have just the stockinette kind of the same edging as the sleeve, but I did a 1x1 rib instead.
Looks great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect for that.
All right, so this is not pressed, like I said, so I still have to press it. We did a little tutorial on the Mattress Stitch. It's kind of small because the stitches are small, so I hope that there's other ones that are more basic that you can look at if you really want to see like the ladders between the stitches that you catch and everything. You can find that.
Right.
Very Pink Knits has a good one with.
We're not that sophisticated here with big zoom.
Yeah, well, and plus she's using swatches that are like big stitches.
Right,
in her
and
swatches.
you used your actual project.
I used my actual project, so this was not intended to be kind of like the be all and end all, but just to give you an idea of what it looks like, and you'll have to do a little bit more research. Maybe at some point we'll do another one, but I wanted to do it on this.
Yeah, and I think people had asked for that.
Yeah.
So before we go to the tutorial, we want to say that we've extended the discount to get this project yarn. So right now, if you use the discount code that I've put in the show notes below, you'll get 15% off sweater quantities of Summer Light DK.
Right.
Technically, you don't have to use it for this project, but we've based the amount of 10 balls minimum to get the discount on this project.
Yeah.
But go in and have a look at the Summer Light DK, and if you want to make a sweater out of it, then you'll get 15% off until our next episode airs 2 weeks from now.
Right. And I would recommend it. Yeah. Highly recommend it.
Some clients have already posted theirs that are finished before you.
I know.
But, and they all look gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like the original color one with the summer color, the greenish and the chartreuse and the steel and the white is beautiful too.
Yeah, and somebody did this combination as well. And we sent out one last week, which I really hope we get to see finished.
The one, it was blues.
Yeah.
Blue stripes. Yeah, it would be really beautiful.
We think that they're going to do this, but they bought their 10 balls.
Yeah.
But the quantities look like it's Cornwallis.
So many options for stripes.
Yeah, and the fabric really feels...
Yeah, we all tried it on. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. I'm very happy. And I just want to say, like, I said this in the last episode, I think, as well, is that somebody's going to want to know if they can do it in the round. You can do it in the round, but I really wouldn't recommend it. The fabric is quite soft and drapey.
Yeah, it would really stretch.
Yeah, I think so.
But you are going to wear this a ton.
Oh yeah,
like I
for
know
sure.
that.
Yeah, it's
I know
right up my street.
Yeah, and I think cotton sweaters, in a way, you know, with our seasons and stuff, are pretty practical.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not heavy. It's very light. And you know, I should say too, another adaptation I made was I made a denser fabric and knit a larger size.
Yeah.
Because I like the fabric a little bit tighter. So if you followed at least in my gauge, if you followed the recommendation for the needle, it would even be looser than this. But this is what I liked. So I went down 0.5 millimeter on both sizes of the needle. So I think it called for 3.25 for the tighter parts and a 3.75 for the main body of the sweater. And I went to a 3.5 for the main body and a 2.75 for the rolled edges. So I still haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do with the edges. So I left my options open. I'll finish it, like I'll do the proper pressing and everything, but I'm gonna wear it a lot. I know it.
You can wear it again next episode, completely done and dusted.
Yeah,
and with the things finished.
If I finish that, and we'll take some pictures of it so you can see.
So your plan is to finish this, go back to your Paisley jacket, and my plan is to finish the Pabaigh, and cast on my darkness.
Right.
Actually, maybe not finish the Pabaigh, but get to the part where I'm at least doing
Cruising.
Something other than stockinette.
Yeah.
And then start the darkness at the same time. And then both of those are going to be pretty mindless, which is great for me right now. I washed the same load of clothes twice yesterday in a row.
Yes.
I stood in front of the washer, was supposed to put it in the dryer. I restarted the washer. Like, that's how great my mind is right now. So probably stockinette projects are the way to go.
Yeah.
So it's been a bit of a crazy summer. Obviously. I mean, do I need to say it?
Yes.
Okay.
So there is a question about the underarm, adjusting the underarm, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. From the Ask Us Anything?
Yes.
Yeah, you should just talk about it and go back to this. You're still going to be wearing it, so it's useful. Okay. So let's go do the mattress stitch tutorial then. Okay, so we did a tutorial. We're going to go over there now and watch that.
Yeah.
You're going to go over there. We're going to sit here.
Yeah.
Pretend we went somewhere and then welcome you back. It's the magic of television production. We're actually just going to be sitting here the whole time. Big secret. Yeah. Okay.
You wanted the inside scoop. There it is.
So let's watch the mattress stitch tutorial.
Okay, we're not even going to watch it. Today we're going to talk about mattress stitch because I'm about to start sewing up my Cornwallis sweater. So this is just a little bit of a fake sew up because this is not the right order that I'm supposed to be putting the garment together, but I just wanted to show this before I got into the real thing. So we've had a couple questions about the stripes and what thread do you use and that kind of thing. So I'm just using the white Summer Light DK that I knit the sweater in, and you're going to see why it doesn't really matter what color I'm going to use. We're just going to do a little anatomy demonstration first of your knitting. So this is stockinette, so of course the edges are rolling. So you have to unroll the edge and take a look at the way that the stitches. So this kind of funny end stitch right here, where I'm carrying the yarn up the side when I change colors, that's actually your first column of stitches. And what we're after is doing the sewing in between the first and the second column. So you have to unroll this, and I did press this, but it really wants to roll because it's stockinette. Okay, so those funny little stitches, that messy column on the end, is we want to skip over that, and where we want to start our work is actually between that column and the next column. And if you can see on my needle, I've put my needle under two ladders that are between those two columns of stitches, and this is where we're going to work when we do the mattress stitch. So as I do this, you're going to see it's one of those things that it's going to be easier than it sounds until I start, or easier once you get started than just talking about it. So I'm going to hook my thread first on one side, Really doesn't matter what side you start your thread in. I just want to make sure that it doesn't slip out while I'm doing it. And I would sew these ends into the, or weave these ends in at the back, but I'm just going to make a tight little loop there. And the way the mattress stitch works is it goes between the two sides that you're sewing up, and it's going to go back and forth, and then you're going to tighten the stitches, and you'll see. So I'm going to start with leaving the stitches fairly loose. So I'm going to try to get in on the other side exactly in the same spot where I started, so that my stripes match. So here's that funny little column there. I'm going to come over on this one, and I'm going to put my needle in between the ladders, and I'm going to pick up 2 ladders. I hope you can see that. It's kind of tight, so okay. So then I have a line across. You can see the line. Now I'm going to go right back into the hole where I came out of on the first side, and I'm going to pick up 2 ladders between the columns of stitches. I hope you can see that. Okay. So now I have a zigzag across, and I'm not tightening it up, I'm leaving it loose. And I'm going to come back over to the second side, go into the hole that I came out of, get 2 ladders on my needle, and then I'm gonna just leave it loose. Come back over to the first side. Gets to be repetitive, I'm sure you get the idea. Just keep unrolling if you have something that's rolling up. I'm gonna get 2 ladders. Oh, it's a little bit hard on this one. It's actually where I change colors. So the second ladder is actually the blue stitch. So I've got a white and a blue one. I don't want your needle to go through your loop of your thread. Okay. So here we go. Same thing on this one. Now we're in the blue. So we want to go between 2. So I've got 2 blue ladders. Oh, I got 3 blue ladders. I'm going to just back that out. I've got 2 blue ladders. Okay. And I'm going to just do into the blue because I want to show you why that doesn't matter what color thread you're using. Into the same hole that you came out of the last time. 2 blue ladders. Into the hole where I came out of. 2 blue ladders. Over to the other side. And I'm just going to finish this stripe just so you can see how it looks when it's finished. Into the same hole. If you need to use your hand to manipulate this so that you get the 2, there should be a white ladder here. Yep, so there we go. And here, I'm looking for a second. There's actually 2 white ladders, so that means my stripes are slightly off, but this is just for demonstration, so we won't worry. Okay, so now what happens is that you don't want to pull this too tight till you get a few stitches ahead, and then I'm going to start just tightening up a bit just by, you can just pull it with your hand, and I just want to get these a little bit closer, so those loops that I made, just tightening them a little bit. And we're just going to tighten this up a little bit, so not, I don't want to pull too much. You can use your needle as well. See how that goes. And then this is the magic part coming up next. So when you go to really finish the tightening, it goes like a zipper. And the whole thing comes together like that. And you can see that the columns are matched perfectly, so that once that's sewn up, you're not going to even be able to see where the seam was. So I'm just going to show you on the other side. It makes this great seam. Okay, so you can see where the seam is building up there and how neat it is inside. And this is why we get lots of questions about, could you just knit it in the round? Yes, you could, but if you did knit this in the round, you would not have this seam, and you can see how strong that seam is making the whole garment. And then that's what it's important, and I think it's important for cotton because cotton can tend to stretch. So then you finished over here, so then you just keep going in the same way, just uncurling into the hole that you came out of, and you want 2 white ladders. There's a little bit of blue showing there because that's where I carried the thread up the inside. Over to the other side. In where I came out of, 2 ladders. I'm just going to make it a little tiny bit tighter than I did with those when I was demonstrating the first part. 2 ladders here on the right side, back over to the left side, find your 2 ladders. Just going to make sure I have gone into the right hole. Your 2 ladders. Whoop. It's better just to take your time and do it slow. And then I'm going to tighten up again. And you can feel this, especially with this cotton. It's nice. It just slides right in. So you can see that. And then once you're going to press that when it's done, and you're not going to even be able to see the difference between those stitches. So that's about it. I'm gonna, so we'll just leave that for that. And you can see that you can't see the white thread at all because the columns of stitches come right in. So it really doesn't matter what color. I could have used purple and you still wouldn't have seen it. So that's the mattress stitch.
Okay, and we're back. Hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah, and again, I know that it's not like super big and close up, but it's just more or less to give you an idea of sort of what the process. You lay it out and go.
Good job.
Yeah,
you have the patience for that kind of thing. I definitely do not. Oh, speaking of which, I keep meaning to say we keep getting these comments about how close I sit to you. And I have been answering them, yes, we're very attached. I'm just clingy like that, blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, if you watch some of our earlier episodes, I was accidentally hanging off the side.
Yeah.
So I'm now so paranoid about being out of frame that I tend to just get closer and closer as the recording goes on, because there are several episodes where I was like this.
Yeah.
And I'm talking away and my arm is off and it's very...
I think it's more the fact that you start in one spot and
because I'm just getting paranoid. I don't know. It's subconscious.
Yeah.
But that's why I tend to sit as tight as possible because I don't want to look like I'm about to fall off the edge of the world, which I did look like in some of our early episodes.
So since you've waved your hand like that 100 times, people ask every episode about this shawl. So we're just gonna.
This is the Earhart Shawl.
Yeah.
And it's from Rowan Magazine 67, and we sell it in kits, and they are back in stock now.
Yes.
We've been trying all summer to get them in stock.
Consistently,
and we have a little bit of the white yarn. It's also available in a black background. And it's called Earhart, and we sell a kit for it.
Yeah.
So we get asked every episode, so we might as well introduce it every episode that we have it up here, because otherwise we'll get asked.
Yeah, it's really nice.
But you can buy it. I'll put a link to where you can purchase the kit, which comes with the full magazine. So you get a whack of other patterns.
So don't order the magazine because you're going to get it.
Yeah,
with the kit.
and all the yarn that you need to make this.
Yeah.
So that's Earhart. Okay. Shop update.
Yeah.
I'm going to do in the order that it's piled on here.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can unbury the other things.
Okay.
So the first thing we've never talked about before is the wool wash that we use. And there are other types. I think we like the way it smells.
Yeah, especially the Rapture.
And it's got lanolin added, which is, of course, what we wash off the wool when we process it. And you can add a little back in. It'll make your project a little bit softer. And this is, you don't rinse this out. You actually leave it on the garment. It's like a low soap sudsing wool wash. So we use Eucalan.
Yeah.
And it comes in several scents. And these are all listed online for you to buy. So there's eucalyptus, grapefruit, Rapture, which has a completely different label for some reason, but it's actually jasmine scent.
Right.
I don't know why they have the feature label on this one. Maybe it was their original.
Maybe. I don't know.
And then what have you got? Unscented and lavender. So the Rapture, the jasmine, and the lavender are probably the most popular, but these are all lovely. So this is the wash that we use. And we use a ton of this stuff. Yeah. So we have the big one with the pump. I love it.
And we send the samples of this when we...
Yeah, so you've all gotten samples of it in your parcels.
Yeah, and we do two things. We do tea, and we do this, and we just mix it up.
Yeah, so if you liked it, just letting you know, you can find it on our website. Add it to your order, and I'll put a link to where you can purchase that. Because our kind of like accessories and props section of our website's getting pretty big.
Yeah.
So it helps if I link directly to it.
Yeah.
So give that a try. I know there are other brands. Soak is a really popular one. I can't get off this. I don't know. I just like it. It's the first one I originally used, and I just like it better. But if you're a soak person, by all means, carry on.
It's really important. That's what we use in the prep of our swatches.
Yeah, always. Yeah. Occasionally I throw a little in the dye vat just to brighten my day. Oh, yeah? It smells so good. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do that sometimes, not all the time. Okay, so the next thing we wanted to show, because I know you're starting the Sunday cardigan, ideas about how to pair kid silkays with our Aran weight, because the Aran weight is what we're recommending to make the Sunday cardigan with. And I just wanted to show a few of there's so many different colors of kid silkays available, and of course we have a ton of colors, but you literally can find a match for almost everything.
We have all the colors that they make and still stock. Yeah. So if you're looking for something in kid silkays, we've got it.
Yeah. So this is our A Night Without Stars with Turkish Plum, which is exciting. There's a fly joined the recording. Okay. This is our Crocus with a color called Dewberry.
Right.
So beautiful. Strawberry Fields and Romance. Also beautiful. You know how I have orange wearing envy? Yes. Like people who can wear orange. I'm so envious. I can't wear it at all. Like this, you're probably about to vomit just even looking at it. Like it's so terrible. It does not work with my coloring at all, but this excites me. Yeah. You know, and I'm envious. Cool. Like that would be so cool. Yeah. So just some examples, and this is called Golden Poppy. Right. And because sometimes it's a little bit hard to tell from their swatch. If you have questions and you're considering doing it, Fox and Kit.
Fox and Kit.
Yeah, by all means, drop us a line and we'll help you match something up. But and I even take photographs of them for people and send them back, because sometimes their photography is not as perfect as you would expect from looking at it on the screen, and everybody's monitor is different. But usually if I take it in a nice open shade outside, you get a pretty true idea of what the two colors look like together. And of course it's helpful to see them side by side, which you can't do on the website.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's that.
Yeah. And we have a picture of the project that we talked about that our friend Joanne is doing. Yeah.
So a picture's not going to do it justice, but it's dreamy. Yeah. And I took a couple pictures of it, which you're seeing now. And just a reminder, there's a pattern in the Rowan Magazine 67 that does combine Summer Light DK and Kid Silkays. Yeah. It's called June, I think. And still you get the discount on the Summer Light DK if you want to tackle that one. Yeah. Until next recording. And the fabric, it's just amazing. I mean, I kind of want to drop everything and make it, but I just can't. Like I'm already making a full length. Like I just can't.
I think the very first swatch that I do, like with the Kid Silkays and another yarn, is I have some of this left, and probably that romance would go with it too. So I'm gonna do a swatch like.
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool. It's a little bit more pinky, but it would still work.
But there might be something else that blushes, I think, is more the one. So I'm going to do it because I really... You couldn't see it in the picture, but that fabric that Joanne's got...
Her sweater, how gorgeous it is.
Yeah, it's really... It's, it's saying a lot that we were
Still
totally
talking about it. I made her bring it in so I could take a picture of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really, really nice.
Right. So the other new thing we added, which we tried to add a few weeks ago, but there was a little debacle with the ordering, is, one of the very few Cocoknits things that we didn't already have was their little project, the linen 4-corner bag. And it comes in 3 sizes, so small, medium, and large. I have the medium box here, and then you buy the handles separately.
Right.
You get the size bag you want. You get the leather handles to put on it. You can also, of course, just buy the bag and fashion your own handles. Or do whatever kind of fancy treatment you want on the linen bag. And so I made one up here, and this is what it turns out like. And I did this, I had to take the linen out, wash it, trim off the excess threads, which I missed a few here. So I just took my pinking shears and sort of trimmed off all these. I pressed it, believe it or not. Pressing linen is clearly not a talent that I possess.
Well, linen doesn't stay pressed.
It's got the cute little Cocoknits tag on it. I'm thinking of taking these out and putting some saddle soap on it, saddle treatment on it, just to see if it darkens them up and how that looks.
I'm sure they get
they
the
would
oils from
up.
your hands and stuff on them.
But I'm super tempted to go out and just add some saddle because we have so many different types of leather treatments from riding.
Yeah.
It would be really easy for me to go out and add a little something to it.
Where do they give the instructions, the sewing instructions as well?
Comes in the handles and
okay, so that's good to know. If
it comes with a little book that tells you how to assemble it.
Right.
It also tells you how to make one of these linen bags from complete scratch in a different fabric if you want, which is really nice of them.
If you just needed good handles for a bag and you want to do this, you can
make the bag yourself.
Have scraps of fabric.
So the bag comes with the seams already in it.
Yeah, I don't know how much fabric it would take, but probably not that much.
Not much. It's like a square, and then so this is the medium, so you can get a large and a small. And it's meant to put your little...
Oh, I see how it's made now.
Yeah, it's just like open like a... on one side. So it's just a square cut. Yeah. And then,
folded over like an origami.
Those little things you used to make when you were a kid. Yeah. So, and then you get the little leather handles and you put all your stuff in it.
Super cute, eh?
Like, look at me shoving my yarn in here.
Yeah, they're so smart.
So to me, I wanted to get these. We kind of neglected to get them because we're like, well, it's not really a knitting thing, and it's so quick to put together. Like, is it? But if you're feeling like you want to have a productive day, it was super fun.
Yeah,
and like the easiest thing I've ever done.
Right.
And they've got little leather washers, and you just tie a little knot in these, and you're like, I made something today.
Yeah.
You could do it with your kids.
And nice. Something nice.
Lovely. Yeah. And I love that it's kind of branded and linen. Linen and leather, like what?
Yeah. This is why we love Cocoknits.
Yeah.
Because
and the straps are nice and big.
Yeah.
It's just kind of adorable.
It's pleasing.
I would imagine you could dye this if you wanted.
Yeah. Well, whatever. You can do whatever you want.
Like linen is a cellulose. It's a plant fiber, right? So I can't dye it with. You can't dye it with greener shades. But if you had cellulose dyes, those would be ones that work on cotton or linen or hemp or any of that stuff. Because bamboo, that's a different dye than the dyes that we use for protein fibers, which would be wool, alpaca, and all that. So it's important to keep that straight.
Yeah.
But yeah,
very pleasing.
I kind of love it.
Yeah.
It was super quick and satisfying. So if you just feel like I can't knit today, what am I going to do with myself?
A little project.
I don't know. You could like do, stamp little eco print the fabric and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And
Joanne actually bought the bag and didn't buy the leather straps. No. And she put a little edging on it and then...
wove cord through.
Yeah, sailing cord. Okay, yeah.
So, this is the idiot-proof way to do it with the handles that they provide, but you could also get creative.
And how great is it that they actually give the pattern for this?
I know. So nice.
Open source
bag pattern from any fabric.
And they put the same booklet in the bag and in the handles?
Yeah. Go Cocoknits.
Yeah.
So this is a new product.
Right.
And we ended up with lots of them.
Yes.
Well, when I say lots, and then everybody goes on and we run out. But we have 10 of each size, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
handles.
We should just say that the mesh bags sold out.
Yeah.
But we do have lots of those because I went click, click, click like that. And clicked one more time than what I thought I would, but, that's okay.
So now we've got several dozen coming.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. So yeah, just the important thing to know is that you need to buy the bag and the handle.
if you want
sold separately, because people might want to buy the bag fabric that's pre-sewn and add their own finesse to the handle.
Yeah.
Or you might want to take a bag you have that needs a new handle.
Yeah.
And get the handles.
Yeah. So you get
separately.
two handles with the little washers. So you can use that on any kind of bag.
Yeah.
You were even a knitted one.
Oh, it would be perfect because you do need to put a hole to thread the cord through.
Right.
So it can't, if it's tight fabric, which actually linen is quite tight, you just bore out the little hole and then put the leather cord through.
Darning needle for that.
Yeah, the biggest darning needle I've ever seen.
Yeah, I had one.
Look, it's so cute on the back. It says delight in the making.
Yeah, that's
indeed.
right. It's true.
Right. It was a delight. Thank you, Cocoknits. All right. Whew, that was a lot of talking. Okay.
Yeah.
So the next thing is workshops.
Sure.
Okay. So our friend Margaret at Knit Pickers PEI is, of course, having a similar summer to what we're having, which means there's virtually no customers.
Yeah.
So we have collaborated with Margaret for almost every summer that we've been in business. I think she carries our yarn up there in her shop in North Rustico, which is a beautiful part of the island and quite far from here. So often, if people can't come here, they might pick up some of it there. So
in fact, it's the only store now.
Yeah.
That we are still sending yarn to outside
pretty
of
much.
Yeah.
We're not wholesaling hardly at all anymore. So thank you, Margaret, for carrying our yarn. And we just want to let anybody who's in the Atlantic bubble know that Margaret is still running her workshops really regularly throughout the summer. And that's not super common, but she's always had a very small space. Like it's not like there were 100 people attending. So it's easy for her to social distance and do, it's fairly small scale.
Usually she has people that are coming together. They would already be the bubble.
Yes. Like a whole family might come participate in one. Mom, grandmom, kids kind of thing.
Yeah.
So just to give her a little shout out and let you know what's available, if you do want to come and book a fiber experience on the island, because those are a little hard to come by right now. There's one called Buttery Brioche, which is every Tuesday until October 6th, and you go for a lunch at the Lost Anchor in Cavendish as part of that workshop. Sounds
Have you
fun.
been there before?
No, I've never even heard of it.
I don't know. We're gonna have to go check that out.
What's the Lost Anchor? We need to go. I haven't eaten nearly enough lobster this summer. I can tell you that. Okay. There's another one called Looms and Lobster, which they do the little knitting loom thing, and that's every Wednesday and Friday, and that runs until September 23rd, every Wednesday and Friday. And the lobster lunch is served at Captain's Cove Cafe in North Rustico. I also don't know that. Do you know that one?
Well, a lobster lunch is, I don't like.
Oh, yeah, you don't even know lobster.
I don't eat lobster.
Okay, so that's Looms and Lobster. And that's a good one for young folks to attend to because the loom is quite easy to learn and they seem to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then there's one called Lavender and Lace, which uses our yarn. In fact, for the project that you make, that's running every Thursday, and it includes a visit to the Island Honey Wine Company because they actually grow lavender, and they make a lavender mead. They have an amazing experience there.
Yes.
Like Island Honey Wine is one of our favorite companies.
Yeah.
Because, as small business owners who welcome tourists and do this whole quasi-agricultural value-added product thing, we all know each other.
Yeah.
And
their place is
beautiful.
Their product is fantastic. The way they've set up their studio for people to visit and do tastings and things, it's absolutely perfection. Yeah. It's a lovely area of the island out in Hunter. Is it Wheatley River?
Wheatley River. Okay. Yeah. Close to Hunter River.
Yeah.
But all those rivers. Yeah. Beautiful. And they're just lovely people, and we just drink their product. Like, we just love their product. Yeah. So it's probably, if we haven't mentioned them before, we've been remiss, but I think we have.
Yeah, mead. It's made from
mead. Honey wine. Yeah, so delicious. So you can get more information about all of those workshops that are being offered on the island all summer long at knitpickerspei.com, and I'll link to that in the show notes.
Okay.
So tell Margaret how you found out about it when you booked.
Yeah, it's good.
Whew.
All right.
I feel like I'm talking a lot today.
Yeah.
But you talked a lot too.
I know. My mouth is getting dry.
Okay.
So, just before we go to the next thing, I found out today that apparently there's a nude beach on PEI. Did you know that?
I have heard that.
Have you? I don't know where it is exactly.
Oh, okay. Well, if you know where the nude beach is on PEI.
I know somebody who knows where it is.
Oh, okay.
But I heard about it for the first time today, and I was chuckling to myself because it reminded me of a story that I hadn't thought of in a long time. And it was about the nude beach in Vancouver when Ken and I
was
lived
going
in
to say, it's
Vancouver.
not about the see-through bikini, is it? Because I feel
No.
like we already told
No,
that one.
No,
okay.
This is even more.
Okay. Nude
More
beach in
nude
Vancouver.
than that. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, outside of Vancouver somewhere. I
Okay.
can't even remember what the name of it was.
I don't know if I know this story.
Is it Wreck Beach? Or something like that. I don't know. People will write and we'll know in the,
yeah.
the comments.
You know where the nude beach is outside Vancouver.
Anyway, so Ken really liked to tan. He doesn't tan much anymore, but he used to really.
You're going to say Ken really likes to be nude.
No, yeah, well, so we lived in Vancouver, in the late 90s. We're not talking yesterday. So it was really funny because we lived in a townhouse in a place which was not in the middle of the city, but there was no nude sunbathing anywhere near our place.
Okay.
So we were getting ready for bed one night and Ken started taking off his clothes. And I don't even know why I noticed, because I'm just that detail oriented, I guess, but I noticed that he didn't have any tan lines. He had a beautiful tan that year, but no tan lines. And I noticed and I said, "How come you don't have any tan lines?"
Really?
And he was working at the Waterfront Hotel there and worked nights mostly. So he had all day. So every day I would come home from work and he'd been at the beach all day. No tan lines. So I was like, how come you have no tan lines? And
I didn't even know about this.
You didn't?
No, I'm shocked.
Oh, I know. It's shocking, isn't it? Anyway, he said, well, there's a nude beach.
And I want to say something about his French heritage, but it's probably politically incorrect, but I'm sorry. The Scots are much less likely to enjoy a nude beach.
No.
I think. Well, certainly our family.
Yes, if you get any darker than an oat cake,
right, I mean,
Scottish, then you're really like on the edge. Anyway.
Well, I don't even think you can. Like, it's...
Yeah.
But anyways, okay.
So that's how you know. You
Tanning areas that have never seen the sun before, if you're pale like us, definitely not a good idea.
No, not our thing. Anyway. So then that ended up being a whole conversation about the nude beach. So, and then he said something really funny, which I believe him. Wasn't trying to be like subterfuge or whatever. He said, "Trust me, it's not what you think." And I said, like, what do you mean? He said, "You're thinking that I'm going there and there's all these hot bods and everything." He said, "Unfortunately," he said, "that's what I thought too the first time I went." But he said, "Unfortunately, that's not who goes to the nude beach."
No, I'm shocked that you take your clothes off in public. Oh. I wouldn't even be thinking about that. Who else was there? I'd be like, really? You were naked in public?
Yeah.
All right. That'd be the shocking part for me. Wow.
Anyway, the picture that he painted was not very appetizing for me either to go. I have no desire whatsoever to go. There's things that I don't need to see.
I think so.
Yeah.
That belong to other people? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I don't really need to see more detail than what I can see. And I've seen what I could see with... We've already had discussions about Speedos and stuff, but what I've seen with when they feel that they're dressed was more than enough. Sometimes.
But our family is pretty uptight.
Yes.
So we can really only speak for ourselves.
Yes.
You weren't going to be there.
No.
Ken was comfortable.
I would have shocked you more if I said I was tanning at the nude beach.
Yeah. I don't know. Both surprised on all counts. Surprised I never even heard this before.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Anyway, that was what I was reminded of today.
Right. Good.
That's hilarious.
All right. I love the just throw caution to the wind aspect of all of that.
Yeah.
Like, you should feel free, wear whatever bathing suit you want. I mean, that was the whole point about the Speedo story with Pierre.
Yeah, that's right. You should, or not.
Right. Whatever suits you. But I am surprised that my brother-in-law was naked in public.
And not just once.
It's not like he walks around the house naked.
No, he's always...
But in front of strangers is okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I don't know how that works.
It's weird. Well, I would have to draw the line if he was just walking around.
But it's funny when you think about that psychologically, like... Like, we're not all going to just go in our private backyard and get naked.
No.
Right.
But I had a very private backyard when I lived in Quebec.
So imagine if
And it was really had to be like super security, whatever, for me to even lay, because we're just, like I said, we're just that uptight. But to lay out in my very private backyard next to my pool with nothing on. It took me probably, I lived there for what, like 10 years or something, 15 years?
Yeah.
It took me to year 10 that I didn't levitate every time I heard a car go by on the highway.
Right.
There was no possible way they would have seen it.
And your cedar hedge probably grew 3 additional feet in that 10-year period, and that's probably why.
Yeah, not our thing.
All right.
Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, there's always stuff to
Very
learn.
good. There's very few stories that I feel like I could be not already aware of, but that's one.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
Go, Ken.
I'm gonna get the gray eye on Friday for telling that story.
All right. So now we have a little bit of a preview sneak peek thing of something really exciting, which is the new book from the Saltwater Mittens gals,
Christine and Shirley.
Yeah, so they have another book coming out in the end of August.
Well, it starts shipping, I think, at the end of August.
Okay,
it's like end of August, 1st of September.
And of course, we've ordered a slew of them so that you all can be one of the first to get it. And I'm pretty sure we were one of the first to put in our order. Yeah, and we got lots, famous lots.
We got enough that they called us and said, "Are you sure? Are you sure that you're?" It's too bad that didn't happen with the mesh bags.
They're like, "Did you need to have that extra 0 on there?" Yes, we did.
Yes.
So we'll have lots of the book, Saltwater Gifts.
Yeah.
And I guess what we're doing now is just showing a little preview of some of the patterns that are in it.
Yeah.
Is that it?
So Christine and Shirley are sharing some previews.
Okay.
So
we're bringing it to you
they've
here.
Sent it to us, so that's great. Yeah.
Okay. So is that a little slideshow?
No, it's just, I think it's just a picture. I think we have to do the slideshow.
No, I know, but I'm making a slideshow. Okay. I just don't know if it's playing over our heads or
no.
This is how much prep we do.
I don't know. We're gonna
okay, because it'll be fun adding music to these. Let's go watch the slideshow.
Okay, and we're back. Was it a slideshow? We don't know. We don't know yet.
I think you just saw a slideshow.
Or pictures.
Or maybe not.
Yeah.
If you didn't just see the slideshow, then you're seeing the pictures now. This is how organized we are. It's amazing we can pull this together.
We're pretty organized today.
Much more organized. We should just see when we were doing it weekly.
Yeah.
We didn't even know what was in the slideshow. No. Now at least we know what's in it. Maybe sort of.
Yeah.
Okay, so Saltwater Gifts. New book launching.
We're really excited.
And of course they're wonderful. The books are always wonderful. They're wonderful for wonderful people.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a really exciting day when we get those in. And I bet people are going to write and ask if they can pre-order. Can they pre-order? Of course they can.
Oh, okay.
Of course you can pre-order the book.
We don't know when they're going to be in exactly.
No, but if you want to be the first one to have it shipped out, that way we'll be prepared. We'll have the boxes ready. When those suckers arrive, we'll just throw them in there and get them right out to you.
Okay.
So yes, let's pre-order, because also then if we run out, we have time to get more before
we run
into an issue waiting for the second printing.
Yes.
Because there probably will be one.
So, and I have to tell you, because I know that you've corresponded with them.
So sorry. The link to pre-order the book in the show notes.
Right.
Okay.
Down below.
Yeah.
So these books are published by a local to the Saltwater Girls.
Right.
I always call them that. I hope they
Right.
don't mind me calling them that. Christine and Shirley.
Right.
From St. John's, Newfoundland.
Right.
So the publisher is Boulder Books. So if
Right.
you want to support a small publishing house too, it's a great initiative, and they've done a great job with those books. And so Gavin Will is the owner of that, and I'm afraid to say his name because I think, is it Will Gavin or is it Gavin Will?
Okay.
Anyway, it's Gavin Will.
It's definitely Gavin. Yeah, his first name.
Anyway, I had a conversation with him on the phone the other day.
Right.
He's great.
Yeah. I don't think I've talked to him. I talked to somebody else.
Yeah.
But that's great.
Anyway, they're all good people.
Okay.
Yeah.
And while we're on the subject of books, we've ripped through 2 orders of Kate Davies books.
Yeah.
And we have a few more coming.
Right.
Do you remember what they were called?
It's another Gaelic name. Pabaigh.
Okay, the one that's named after her original yarn.
Oh, yes, okay.
And then is there one Colors of Islay?
Isla.
Colors of Isla. I was really close.
I think it's oh God, we're really like, it's not colors. Is it Impressions of Isla, or it's Colors of Shetland?
We have that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's another name.
Do you know what the other new ones we ordered are?
Okay,
slideshow. We're trying to get all the books.
Yeah.
We ordered a few more. We just butchered that really badly. So here is a slideshow showing the new books
with the names
that are on their way to us. And they've already been shipped, so I will list them.
Yes.
So if you want to pick those up, they do tend to be selling out fast, these Kate Davies books, as we get them in. We should probably be ordering more at a time.
Sam's very impressed.
Sam is super impressed.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't heard. Wait till we see what the postcard says this time when we get it. Last time it was like, wow, more already. You ladies are spectacular. This time
no,
aces.
Like,
we're aces.
Yeah.
Next time it'll be like, maybe you could organize yourselves a little better so that you don't have to order weekly.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Sam. We only sort of know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so ask us anything. We had 3. One we already covered about the steek. The other one was, and I forgot to put the names in like you do, but can you use yarn from your swatch in your project if you unravel it and soak it? Absolutely you can. You can reuse that yarn. In fact, a lot of times I count on being able to reuse it.
Right.
You do have to soak it to get the crinks out. Well, depending on the yarn, you might be able to get away with not doing that.
How long it's been knit.
And how long it's been knit up. Yeah, but I mean, I fully plan to use the one from my darkness swatch in my project because the swatch wasn't even correct.
Yes.
Yeah, but with us,
you just have to be a little bit careful about the way you handle the swatch, depending on the yarn you're using. Because if you felt it, you shouldn't felt your swatch anyway. But if you felt it or whatever, then you might not.
Right. And in my case, I might actually not use mine because it'll be good to have for the store to show off the brush fleece.
Oh yeah.
But somebody also asked about the importance of swatching in the round.
Yes.
Which I guess we didn't cover in our swatching tutorials. I feel like you did, but maybe you didn't. But yes, if the project is knit in the round, your swatch will be much more accurate swatched in the round.
We talked about it because we talked about it with the Paisley jacket a couple episodes.
Because of course really your tension in straight stockinette is going to be different than your tension 1 row knit and 1 row purl.
Right.
There's no way that could be the same. You're purling half of it.
It's
versus just knitting all
different.
Of it. Yeah.
For me anyway.
Yeah. So I would say another tutorial to do is swatching in the round.
Yeah.
Because you don't knit a huge round circle. No. There's a way to do it.
You extend the...
You leave a tail and go around.
There's a couple tricks with that. And you also should swatch in color work. Excuse me, if you're doing a color work pattern.
Right.
Because that's also different.
Well, for sure the different stitches you need to do. Like if the pattern calls for a number of swatches, you should do them all.
Yeah.
Because, you want to have the right needle size for everything.
It's really the value of the swatch is most importantly for sizing, but it's also if you're doing a stitch or a technique that you haven't done before, it's practice before you get to your project.
It's very helpful.
Yeah.
You're like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Before you put it in your project and have to rip it out and it's attached to other things and all that stuff, better to swatch it and try it out.
Yeah.
And then the final...
Sorry, there's one more thing that I just remind, and I forget where I read the comment, but somebody asked if they said, they kind of put up their hands and said, okay, I give up, I'm going to wash and block my swatch. Right. We talk about it so often. Yeah. But they asked a really good question. It is how much do you stretch your swatch when you pin it out? So really, you shouldn't stretch it.
No, you're more just laying it flat.
Yeah, so patting it flat and pinning it, because you really want to see how the yarn is going to react kind of after it naturalizes. Yeah. So if you overblock, you can do that to your sweater.
But it'll shoot back up a little bit.
Yeah, eventually it goes...
It'll retract a little bit.
Yeah. So you're better to have a swatch that really tells you, without too much manipulation, how the yarn is going to behave.
But you'll often hear us say, like, well, we block the crap out of that. Well, that's because we've made a mistake. Yeah. And we're now trying to make it bigger. Yeah. But ideally, you don't have to block the crap out of something. No. Like, if it's a little bit too small, you're like, I blocked the crap out of it. But the truth is, you know, and I just gave a project away because I really required blocking the crap out of it to get it fit in the shoulder. But the minute I sweat under here, it's just going to go back up. Yeah. You know, like any kind of moisture, it's just going to absorb that and retract.
It's the opposite of your jeans. Yeah. Coming out of the dryer. Yeah. Your sweater will go back
get
to
smaller and your jeans get bigger. Yeah. So, all 3 stages of the swatching tutorials are now listed. Yeah. Part 1, 2, and 3. They're in the wrong order because of a little content glitch I had to go and recreate sort of the part 1. So that took a while to get up. But there's now 3 parts to swatching, and we have a playlist tab on our YouTube channel, and there's 2 playlists, podcast episodes where it allows you to watch all of those in chronological order, or there's a playlist called knitting tutorials, and you can find all our tutorials listed one after the other in there. It just helps narrow down what you're looking at on the channel. All right, so finally the Ask Us Anything asking about adding armpit shaping in a boxy pattern, and I know who this one was from. This was actually from Appy Dancer.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just happened to remember that.
I thought it was Penny.
Her name is Penny.
Oh, is it?
Her username is.
Oh, okay.
Do we usually give away their first names?
No. Okay. You said this is from Penny. I didn't know who Penny was, so I thought you were telling me.
Well, now everybody knows.
Oh, okay.
So much for protecting your private information, Penny.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, answer.
So your question could not be more timely.
Right.
Because I had the exact same question to myself this morning. And we were going to ask our community for help. How do you want to explain? We're going to use my sweater as the...
I just want to explain that I'm assuming every body is like this, but that our bodies are really tricky to fit. Like, if you're really going to get picky about knitting projects, which we tend to do, we take it very personally every time something doesn't come out perfect. But man, this fitting our shoulders /bust /rib cage thing is really tricky.
Yeah.
So
we're learning a lot.
You've created a little bit of a batwing situation here.
Yes. And I've never done a raglan sleeve before.
It's very warm under here. I bet your sweater's shrinking.
Is it warm?
Yeah.
I'm not sweating.
No. It's warm. Okay.
I'm warm.
So in this case, to fit your shoulders, you made this raglan really long, which is what we would normally do. Like in the round, I always add raglan increases or decreases, like make this longer. If it's decreases, you need to start bigger and decrease longer to add lots of...
Probably my row gauge is not
room
quite...
in the shoulder area, because we have very large shoulders because we're farmers and genetics.
Yeah.
And usually in the round, that's the best you can kind of do to fix the shoulder area. And you've maybe taken it a little bit too far here. But then when you went to sew up, you almost needed it because it was too tight under here.
Yeah.
Because we're also very broad through the rib cage. Yeah. So we have very sprung ribs.
Yeah.
It's just a genetic thing that runs in our family. Like rib cages can be kind of flat like that. Yeah. Ours are basically like this.
Yeah, barrel
chested. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Because that's what we used to call it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, mine's so sprung that if I were naked, it would look almost like I had 2 sets of boobs.
Yeah.
Like the tips of my ribs are so far forward that I look like I have 2 sets of breasts.
Yeah. Lumps. There's 4 lumps.
They're lumps. Because it's just like, what is that? I think that comes from our dad.
Yeah, it is definitely not, there's no layer of anything extra flesh over anything on your body. So
no, but I do. I try not to think about it because I was self-conscious about it when I was younger.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a couple lumps right here that are it's the tip of my ribs. They're so sprung out.
Yeah.
So
and our father, in fact, our father does have a little bit of extra.
Right.
You know, he's not skin and bone by any means, but we always used to laugh because when he was hungry, we would say, "Oh, you can see the hollows."
Yeah.
And what hollows?
Had like a hollow underneath his rib cage because he didn't have to worry. He wasn't going to starve to death anytime soon. But so, you know, it's just, you almost would need a schematic that measures under the rib cage.
Yeah.
We would, because it's just not typical. We're not average in that way. So, but I don't...
Who's really average?
I know, well, this is it. Like, there's no such thing,
yeah.
right? And so you got to learn about your own body
right.
as you knit. And so you've learned something in this one, that just increasing the shoulder depth along the raglan doesn't fix all ills, because now you've got extra room down here, but it's in a shape you don't want because it's not attached to this.
Yeah.
And now you have like a batwing thing happening where you would probably prefer that this ended up here and you had just created more space around the rib cage.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really answer Penny's question, but it does answer a question for us about how to fit our bodies.
The answer to Penny's question is we don't know.
No. We have no idea, Penny,
We're
but
not
we
the
do
expert.
appreciate you sending it in.
You're not the experts that you're looking for.
So I think it's fairly complicated, actually, to add shaping under the armpit if it's not there in the pattern.
I could imagine that it would be easier on a pieced sweater than it would be in the round, maybe.
I mean, I think that's a question for Andrea at Fruity Knitting. I don't know.
Is it a dart?
I don't know. We should ask Andrea.
Yeah.
We're gonna send her that idea. Here, Andrea.
Talk about
you have the patience and skill to answer this question, and we clearly do not.
And the math skills.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. She's really good at that.
Yeah.
We're gonna ask her.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. If she has an answer, she'll cover it on an episode, maybe.
Well, maybe.
If we ask nicely.
Yeah.
We beg. But we can't help you.
Yeah. We have
like
the same
you now
problem.
would kind of maybe be able to figure out how to do it on this sweater, but you're really doctoring every bit of it. Like the whole pattern would be wrong.
Yeah, and quite, to be honest, I'm less I talk about this a lot. I hate to talk about it with my yoke sweater because I love that sweater, but this seems easier to fix than it would on a yoke in the round when you've got pattern all the way around and you'd have to make adjustments and stuff like that. So it would seem like this should be easier, but I have no idea even where to start.
It's just too much for us to contemplate right now.
Yeah. And I had never done a raglan sweater. So I was quite, because I used the Shirley Padden fitting thing from Blueprint as well. I'm a big Blueprint. I'm so happy.
Craftsy again now.
Yeah, I'm so happy that it's going to be back. So I can use it a lot as a resource. So, she has that great course on measurements and everything. So I knew my raglan depth, I think is what you call it, was kind of off the charts. So she showed examples of everything because she was measuring somebody as part of the course. And all my measurements she was doing like a couple different body types, I think, or something. But anyway, all my measurements kind of made sense in relation to each other when I didn't. But this didn't. Right. It was longer, a lot longer.
Yeah.
I think the example that she used was like around 7 1/4 inches or 7.5 inches, and mine was actually 8.5.
Right.
Which is quite a lot, a big difference.
So in a top-down raglan in the round, if you knew this, get your raglan depth right, and then you might just increase along here to cover our rib cage versus making the depth longer, because you've got two problems happening. You've got the shoulder, and then we also have this through here. So typically lengthening one a bit would fix both, but in this case it just doesn't. And it's just a bit low in your pit. And
it almost looks like I've got too much fabric here.
Yeah.
So which worked on my hinterland.
Right.
Giving me extra butt, like room for my butt, but for this it's fine because the sweater is a casual sweater and it's super comfortable, so it's not like it's a big issue for me.
It was just a surprise.
It was a surprise. I was like, oh, because I actually thought when I was trying it on, I had sewed up, had done the sewing on one sleeve, and the neck was I sewed the neck together. And I put it on, and I thought, oh, shoot, it's actually going to be too small, but it's not too small. It's just not the right shape.
Yeah, and the seam is in the wrong place, kind of.
Yeah.
Like you would actually want it up here, but still fit. But of course, you had to go up a size just to get this. So you'd almost have to knit it again.
Which
But we probably don't have time for that.
No.
All right, so that was super helpful, right, Penny?
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be lots.
We're gonna phone a friend.
Yeah, we're gonna phone a friend on that. You have a lifeline on that?
Yeah, but I mean, everything is doable, right? Like, it's always math and measuring. Mm-hmm. And personally, I'm terrible at that.
Arithmetic.
Yeah, I mean, if I was good at that, I would have figured out how to make the darkness with the larger needles. But I can't. I just don't have the bandwidth for that right now.
Yeah.
And neither one of us have experience with having a really boxing pattern and trying to add armpit shaping. Mm-hmm.
It's been important.
But obviously it can be done. And it also depends on the method that the sweater is designed into, would make a big difference.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, if anybody has experience with adapting,
I wonder,
then by all means sound off in the comments.
I wonder if there's something, if we have the Vogue knitting book. I wonder if there'd be something in that. Would it be a dart maybe? Or
I don't know, but that other book that we have might cover it too. I don't remember which one. It's a beige book. It's got all like cream colored cover, and we'll have to go home and look.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure there's a way to do it.
Of course, there's a way, but you're basically going to be redesigning the pattern.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Like
arm shaping and stuff is obviously one of the most challenging
and
parts of the whole thing.
This because you've only done raglans that have been knit in, right? Mm-hmm. With decreases and stuff. So the way that this one is constructed is the bottom part actually looks like a traditional set-in sleeve, because you do a cast off 5 stitches and you have that kind of a scoopy look that joins underneath. So it would have to be something with that. Originally, I thought when we discovered this the other night was that I just needed to make that tab a little bit longer, like to come in.
But it could also be an issue with your row gauge.
Yes, I think it is. I didn't want to know.
We should probably measure the row gauge and just see.
Yeah. I don't, for somebody that preaches about swatching so much, I actually don't really know how to fix row gauge. If you've got the fabric that
how do you make both work if they don't both work? Like, it's one or the other.
Yeah.
If you don't happen to hit it right, I have no idea either.
Yeah.
And like, what are you going to do? You have to pick one needle size, right?
Yeah. And so I don't know how to fix it, so I didn't look.
I guess maybe if row gauge is important in the pattern, you should use that. There's certainly, like, when you're knitting sideways, like a Jennifer Beal, row gauge is the one you need to focus on. Right. Not the other one. But you can't make both fit on one needle if they don't.
Yeah, I know.
So you do have to pick the right one to use. And then I guess figure out a way to adapt the pattern if necessary for the other. But, I mean, that's getting really... I mean, these are sweaters. They're not tuxedos. You know what I mean? Like, you can get it to fit perfectly, but... Right. It's still a sweater. Yeah. It's not, an under, like a bra. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah. But it's just interesting to try to learn as much about how your body works as possible, and you're always chasing that goal of getting the perfect fit. Yeah. Which, ironically, I achieved in my very first sweater and have never been able to do since. So I obviously got lucky. Right? Yeah. Because that sucker fits perfectly. Yeah. 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 Which, for top-down raglan, fits perfectly isn't something you would necessarily in light of everything that we've already talked about. Yeah, but it does fit perfect. Yeah. Yeah, so I got lucky. Or maybe, whoever designed it, my proportions were in line with the sample. That's the other thing. It's like when you're trying on clothes that you're going to purchase. Depends on the designer. Yeah, on the designer and the design. The mannequin that they use to fit the fabric. Yeah. And, I mean, it depends on a lot of things. But... Yeah. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not bothered about this. It's completely comfortable. It's, but I was surprised. Yeah, surprised. But it might be a row gauge. Yeah. Okay. We'll measure and we'll check back in when you come back with the finished ones. Yeah. After you press it, it'll be even bigger. Oh, good. All right. So, parting comments. If you like the video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and also hit the notification bell. Yep. And please continue to comment below. We really do love reading all the comments, and we answer them all. And all of those things help us with the YouTube algorithm, which helps, make our channel more popular, which supports our business. So we appreciate that. Even if you just comment with a little emoji, we comment with an emoji back. The emojis are funny.
So perfect.
Everyone's happy. And you can also join our Ravelry group if you want. And if you're local, we hope you check out some of Margaret's workshops.
Yeah.
And let's just try to keep the party going here.
Yeah, that's right.
At this time of austerity.
Yes.
I think it's great that she's still running them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a fiber treat, you can book something up there and then come visit us if you're in the bubble.
Okay, and I shouldn't mention this because I didn't have really time to look at anything, but the organizing committee for the Fiber Festival 2021 sent out a note today about the hotel. So just in case people were wondering, like it seemed like we were going to be a long time that we wouldn't be talking about it, but it's already starting up again, like the planning for 2021.
Thank goodness, because when I think about that and what we had planned and that it's not happening, it's really surreal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very surreal that this all happened.
So, all right. Yeah.
Good. Well, we hope everybody's well.
And
safe. We're no longer doing our knit nights here.
Yeah.
Because it's just too hot to wear a mask in here and knit. Like it's often 85 degrees in this room. And you know, we always had food and it's just very difficult to manage, but we will still be doing our online knit night, I guess, on Monday night.
Yeah. That's right.
So we'll see some of you then.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay, bye, everyone.
A good 2 weeks, everybody. Yeah. Bye.